Hello and welcome. For this practice, you're going to need space to lie down and to be able to move your arms around. So we're going to do that in a moment, but for now, just take a seat, take a breath, and settle your awareness internally. As you exhale again, just let your head drop, chin toward chest. Place your hands on your knees, push down or forward, and then round your back. Tuck your tail under and flex your spine. Then pull on your knees, roll your chest up, arch your back, and lift your gaze. So we're doing a seated cat and cow, and you can just go back and forth a couple more times. Just use this as a way to continue to bring some attention into your body and to be mindful or present with what you're feeling. Not trying to push or pull or change it, but just to experience how your body is today. Good job. Stop in a neutral position. Interlace your fingers. Spin your palms forward and straighten your arms. Check that you're still upright in your spine. You haven't let your belly or ribs pop forward. And start to take your arms overhead. Same with the head too. Don't let it swing forward. Just keep it back. Just go up to the extent that you can with your arms without doing any disruption of that plumb line from head to hips. Take a good full breath around the rib cage. And free the hands and side bend to the right as you exhale. With your left arm, just begin to sweep the arm up and over, back and forth a couple of times, just loosening up the shoulder joint. And you'll notice that when you take the arm up and over, it's a little more intense of a side stretch. Do that one more time with your arm. And then you're going to push off your bottom hand, take both arms up in the sky, and switch over to side two. And then start to sweep the arm, almost like you're drawing a rainbow in the sky. And in this practice, even though we're working on the shoulders and some spinal flexibility, we're also practicing mindfulness. And I'm going to give you one definition. There's many of mindfulness, but mindfulness means to pay attention to what's happening in the moment on purpose, to pay attention on purpose, without pushing or pulling at the experience, just letting it be what it is. So just feel that big stretch when your arm's overhead, without trying to change it. Push off, take the arms up to the sky, nice big breath. Then we're going to take the hands in front of the legs and just rock over the knees and come up to all fours. You can always transition a different way if that doesn't work. Then step your feet and knees toward the back of your mat and come into puppy pose. Just take the arms forward, take the forehead down, and then for this version to start with anyway, we're going to put the elbows on the mat. So if your forehead doesn't make it or your elbows don't make it, you could always insert a blanket or a bolster or something underneath there. So when you arrive here, this is kind of the first bend in the thoracic spine. Practice that mindfulness. Pay attention on purpose. What do you feel that's tight in your body? What do you feel that might be loose in your body, if anything? And start to press down with your palms. And maybe you have to tiptoe your fingers forward, but lift your elbows, straighten the arms. Soften around the heart or chest. Try to get that part to descend, to bend in the upper back, but pick your front ribs up in contrast to that. Okay, lean forward, come onto your belly. Just rest there for a brief moment. So, it's interesting when we practice yoga with this idea of mindfulness and not pushing and pulling. We're obviously moving the body and kind of pushing and pulling at this idea of stretching, but it's really about kind of meeting the edge, not forcing through it or backing away from it. Please place your forehead or chin on your mat now and slide your hands back next to your hips. You're going to turn your palms up to begin with. Breathe into the back of your waist. And when you exhale, just stay here, but try to lift your front rib points away from the ground. You probably won't be able to get them off the ground all the way, but try. And then see if you can keep a little bit of that middle body engagement in your core. And then lift your hands, lift your elbows, lift your shoulders. And consider lifting your head. And you don't need to go very high. Just starting to activate a lift of cobra, but with the feet down. Not cobra, sorry, a locust pose, Shalabhasana. Draw the waistline in from the front. And only go up so high that you don't lose that. And then exhale and release back down. Slide your hands back forward. Take a breath. And here's where we're going to begin to do a little bit of the work with that arm movement where we needed space. So this time you're going to sweep your arms overhead, forward, palms down. You're just going to, kind of claw your hands on the floor like you're a kitty making biscuits and just get some length. I love that image. I wish I had a kitty on my back doing a little massage right now, but I don't. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to lift just one hand. So let's start with the right. And when you get it off the ground, you don't need to go very high. Keep your head down, just lift your arm. Make a soft fist, and then roll your thumb toward the sky like you're hitchhiking. And then roll the thumb back to horizontal. We're going to do the same arm. Don't put it down 2 more times. So external rotation, thumb up, like yay, good job, thumb up. Thumb to parallel. If it's burning in the neck, you can go a little wider with your arm. Thumb up. Thumb to neutral. Extend the fingers. Sweep out like you're sweeping off a counter. Go out wide to the right. Go to about 90 degrees from your mat. Go back forward. Put your hand down. Take a breath. Whew. Feel that in the shoulder already. So of course we're going to do the other side. And the 2 sides aren't going to be the same. So we're going to just meet that. You're going to meet whatever's happening there. Lift the left hand. It's hovering a few inches. It doesn't need to be super high. Make a soft fist with your fingers. Keep your thumb out. And then external rotation, thumb up. You're turning the whole arm, not just your hand. And then turn the thumb back to horizontal or parallel to the ground. So 2 more times. So this side is harder for me. And I have a tendency to want to kind of fight it a little bit. And that's not really this idea of non-attachment that we do in mindfulness. Do 3 of these. Whew, it's way harder for me over here. I don't know how you're doing, but stretch out your fingers. Sweep the arm out left. Go out to about straight out from your shoulder. And then back forward. And put your hand down. Slide your hands back underneath your outer shoulders. Take a breath. When you exhale, draw your front ribs in to fill your back body up with that support. And then coil your spine up into Cobra for reals this time. And only go so high that you can keep that support of the middle of your body. Like ribs drawing back a bit. And then exhale. Release back down. Okay, we're going to do one more arm shape. So we're going to go straight out to the sides. Still with the forehead on the mat. If this is hard for your neck or your nose, you can always put a blanket or a pillow under your head so your head's a little higher and you have more space for your snoot. Okay, so we're going to do the same actions that we did before. We're just going to do it in this plane. So we're starting with the right hand, and you're going to lift it however high. You can get it to hover. That's not super high. Soft fist, thumb extended. We're going to do external rotation, thumb to the sky. And then internal rotation, about stopping and when the fist is parallel to the ground. Then again, roll, thumb up, shoulder back. Roll forward. Soften your jaw. Keep the waistline a little supporting you from the front. Thumb up, thumb down. Okay, extend the fingers. And then same as before, we're going to sweep hand over head. Keep it off the ground. Sweep it back, all the way back toward your feet. Come back to straight out from the shoulder and put your hand back down. Take a breath. Strengthening the back of the shoulder. It's usually an overstretched, tight, and weak area for most people. Overstretched meaning the shoulders round forward, and then those muscles are kind of tight because they're out of alignment. All right, that was your break. Lift the left hand, soft fist, thumb pointing forward to start with. Check that your belly is supporting you, and then turn, thumb up. Really, it's your whole arm. I'm cueing you with your hand, turn hand, thumb down, but try to get your whole arm to rotate. So as you turn your thumb up, your whole arm is turning. The crease of your elbow spins forward. Thumb back down. You're doing 3. This side's so much harder. Then parallel to the ground, extend the fingers, sweep the arm up overhead, keeping it off the ground like you're sweeping off a counter with your palm. And bring that hand all the way back down to point toward your toes. Back out to the side. Put it down. Big breath. Hands underneath the shoulders, kind of wide on your mat. Take a breath in. Lengthen through the spine. Draw the front ribs in and up. Roll off the mat. Cobra Pose. This time just hover your toes. Just lift your toes. Your knees will stay down by pushing them down. And then toes just hover. So just kind of really engaging that back line of your body. Good job. Lift your hips. Curl your toes under. And find your way into dog pose. You can bend your knees if your legs are feeling a little tight. Just kind of send your hips up to the sky. And just remember the feeling of puppy pose where you were keeping that support of the front of your rib cage, doing the same thing here, and bending in the upper back. So remember, it's not a fight. This idea of practicing non-attachment, really, in mindfulness, like not pushing or pulling. In yoga, we call it aparigraha, just not really attached to controlling things or shying away from them. How can you lift your waist and also bend in your upper back without force? You have to work, you do, but there's a difference between straining and working. Okay, walk your feet forward toward the front of your mat and go about as wide as your mat, shoulder width, something like that. And then exhale and release the spine forward. You can bend your knees just a little bit so it's easier for your spine to release. Then inhale and push into the floor or your shins and lengthen your spine. When you exhale, step back with your left foot to a long lunge. Square the hips by pulling the right hip in and down, and then lengthen from your left heel to the crown of your head. Drop your left knee. Inhale the arms up overhead. Bend your elbows, clasp behind your skull, lean your head into your headrest. Check the ribs are supporting you, the belly is, you're not holding so hard that you're holding your breath, but that little bit of engagement. And at the same time, push the head back, do both. Now try to maintain that. Inhale the arms overhead again. Exhale, hands down. Step back, dog pose. Feet forward, forward bend. Feet maybe shoulder width apart now. Exhale, fold in. Softness in the knees, quietness in the mind. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. At the end of the breath, step back, right foot to straight leg lunge. So right leg straight, left leg bent. Square the hips, left hip in and down. Push through the right heel and reach forward through your head. Exhale, knee to mat. Inhale, arms up. Waistline in the front is drawing back to support your low back. Hands behind head. Push into your headrest without dumping your belly out. Non-attachment, right? Not clinging, not pushing, just letting the body be where it is with those cues. Try to keep the head back, the waistline supporting. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands down. Step back, dog pose. Big breath in. Sigh out. Go forward, plank pose. Hold, or take the vinyasa through low plank. Drop the belly, point the toes, curl up. If you're in plank, go back to dog pose. If you're in up dog or cobra, go back to dog pose too. How does it feel now in your body? Just meet yourself where you are. Not trying to change it, just working with the body, working with the breath, working with the mind. Feet forward toward hands, outer hip width apart, it's a little narrower. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold in. Hands to hips. Bend your knees. Roll your shoulders back into a chair pose prep. Knees parallel. Roll the gaze forward. Drop the tail. Hands forward, parallel with the arms to the ground. Take the arms up. Drop the butt lower. Fold forward. Uttanasana. Release the neck. Inhale, long spine. Again, step back left leg to long stance or straight leg lunge. Set up the bones of this pose, right? Tucking that right hip in, square the hips, front legs bent, back leg straight. This time, keep your back knee up. Inhale, arms overhead. Hands behind skull. Push back without dumping out the ribs. Try to keep that. Take your arms up. Now we're going to play a little game with the back knee. So we're going to try not to go up and down. We're going to bend the back knee. We're going to straighten the back knee 3 times. Bend the back knee. Straighten the back knee. Last one, you got it. Keep your eyes steady. Don't fight it. Just do the work. This time when you bend your knee, put your knee all the way on the ground. Curl back. Big stretch through the whole spine. Spinal extension, really opening up. Hands to floor. Step back dog pose or one leg dog pose. Okay, if your foot's in the air, put it down. One breath. Feet toward hands. Hip width apart. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, bow. Right leg back, straight leg lunge. Set up the bones. That just means that the right leg is straight, the left leg is bent. Stabilize yourself. Then come up. Crescent lunge, arms overhead. Hands behind the head. Without popping the ribs forward, lean the head back. And take the arms up again. Okay, play with that back knee. Bend it. Straighten it. Try not to go up and down too much. So we're strengthening the legs, obviously, but we're also getting into the hip flexor on the right side. You're doing 3 of these. Don't give up. And then bend a 4th time. Put your knee on the ground. Curl all the way back. Anjaneyasana, kneeling lunge. Hands to earth. Step back, one leg dog pose or dog pose with both feet on the ground. You choose. Put those toes down if they're up. One breath here, regular old dog pose. Lean forward to plank. Get to your belly. Either stay there or take a back bend. Don't dump out the middle. That's an old habit. Now bend both knees. Bring your feet towards your head. You can do that if you're lying on your belly too. Just kind of dig into that. Stretch out the legs. If you're up in cobra, come on down. Come back to arms outstretched like we did earlier. This time, instead of working the arms, we're gonna do a little work with the legs. So start by bending your right knee. Head can be hovering or on the floor, you choose. But you're gonna lift your right knee up and turn your hips open to the right. Reach your foot behind you to the left, like you're gonna touch your left hand. And then come to center and go the other way. And you're just gonna go back and forth with those. And you can really rotate your hips so that you turn your whole pelvis and roll your belly almost toward the sky. You might need to slide your hand on the ground to do that. So a couple more passes back and forth. You might find it fun to slide your hand down and try to get your foot. Maybe not. Okay, we started with the right foot, so let's have the left foot be the last time. And then come to middle. Put your hands on the mat. Pick yourself up. Push yourself into dog pose one more time. Reassess how you feel. Mindfulness is paying attention in the moment on purpose. It's not like a dog, right? Like a dog can pay attention like a Zen master by looking at a dog treat, but they don't know they're focusing. They're just focused. Like we know that we know. And that's the difference. Okay, bend your knees, hop, step, or walk your feet forward to your hands. Maybe go sit bone width now, a little narrower. Exhale, fold in. Just like before, we're gonna go hands to hips, bend the knees, do chair pose prep. Knees are parallel. Arms forward, parallel to the ground. Lean back, don't let the toes come up, but sit lower. Now arms up. And then stand and just drop your hands. When you come to Tadasana, find your center mass or your center of gravity. Where's the weight kind of centered in your body? Position that well so it's balanced over your feet. And then we're going to shift so that we can stand on the right foot. So how would you move that center of gravity? They call it CG in the engineering world. I'm married to an engineer if you don't know this. So you go to the right with your center mass somewhat. And then when you've got that, just a little bend in your right leg. It's like a shock absorber because you're going to balance. And you're going to kick your left foot back and catch your foot. So you can just stay here if you want to and kind of pull the heel in and point the knee down and tuck the tail and work on that thigh stretch. But you could also turn it into kind of a more classic baby dancer. You would reach your right hand forward, push your foot back, and then pivot on the fulcrum of your pelvis, pushing the foot higher and farther back, keeping the head up and the gaze forward will help counterbalance the weight of your chest, which is now out in front of your hips. Okay, release that. Take a breath just to regroup. Bring the attention back to the center and literally find your center mass. Where is your CG, your center of gravity? Position that well and then shift it so that you can have more weight over the left leg. Soften your left knee, that's part of how you balance. And then swing your right foot back and catch your foot. You can always belt your foot too. Decide if you want to stay here and just work the thigh stretch. If you want to play more with balance, reach forward with the left hand, push the foot up and back, roll the head back, keep the gaze forward. Check the waistline, belly in. And then stand up, release that. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time. If it's harder for your leg flexibility to touch the ground in a forward fold, you are welcome to grab a block for this. Because what we'll do next is to repeat our baby dancer with the option to go hand to the floor. So join me if you'd like. Balance on your right foot, soften the right knee, kick the left foot back, repeat baby dancer, what you did before. Or maybe take it up a notch, lean forward if you didn't last time. Now, if you already leaned forward and you want to keep going with this, start to lower your right hand, Lower your gaze, go slow. Put your hand on the floor, your block. I would suggest offsetting it from your right foot so you're not on a tightrope. And then there's a couple ways you can work this. You can push it high and face the floor still, or you can turn open like half moon pose and take that top leg, that back bending leg, kind of parallel to the ground. So either one, you choose, doesn't matter, just pick one. Good job. So we're gonna let the foot go from here, put the foot down, bend the knees, stand up, release your arms. Take a breath, just standing, meeting the moment and how you're doing in it, right? Aparigraha, it's one of the yamas in yoga, non-attachment, like we're just trying to be with what is. Sounds easy, but it's not. Okay, last side. Right foot kicks back, a little softness in the left knee. Sweep the right arm up. You can hold here, maybe move forward with the baby dancer, or perhaps come into sugarcane pose. That's what it's called when you turn it open. So the hand goes down, the knee goes up, and then in sugarcane or Ardha Chandra Chapasana, we turn, right hip goes up above the left, pelvis will face forward. I'm sure my belly's hanging out now. Hope that's cute. Push back with the right foot wherever you are, push it up and back. You know, if you did come to the floor, of course, you're gonna let go of your foot to get out of this. You're gonna put your foot on the ground and you're gonna exhale. Now everyone come into a forward fold, no matter what version you were doing, just stay there. Tiptoe the fingers forward, step back with your feet and come into down dog for the last time in this practice. When you get there, come back to your present awareness by using your breath and count 3 more breaths. Just try to count the breath and pay attention. Just practicing that focus. When number 3 is done, just put your knees on the mat. Rest in child's pose. Please sit up and sit on your booty and swing your feet forward. Okay, you're gonna put your right knee upright and foot flat, swing the left foot behind the right. Bring your ankles close together. You're gonna wrap your right arm around your knee and then hold on to your hand or wrist, whatever you can get, in any clasp you want. You're gonna let your knee lean out into your arm. So you're starting to think of it like pulling traction on your arm. And then you're gonna lean your head the other way. So you're creating like a little tug of war here, where your knee is going one direction, your spine and head going the other direction. And what we're aiming for in this is a little bit of a feeling of traction where we're pulling on the arm with the weight of the leg. And we might get a sense of stretch up through the neck or the back of the shoulder. You can move your head around. When you breathe in, you're gonna roll the spine to upright and you're gonna pull your knee upright as well. On exhale, twist to the right and switch which arm is wrapping your leg. You're gonna take your other hand, the right one, behind you or next to your hips. Help prop up your spine and take a twist. Even twist your neck, your head. Turn and look back behind you with your face. The whole spine involved in that rotation. Untwist. Let's switch the legs. And when you start, you're gonna wrap your left around your leg, clasp on somehow, create some traction. Knee one way, spine and head the other way, and you can articulate your head and neck to try to get into that fascial connection all the way from your head down through your elbow. On the in-breath, pull your spine upright and your knee to sky. Exhale, twist, Switch arms, so you're wrapping the right one around and you're putting the left one behind you. Sit nice and tall, pull in that knee, twist around to the right, twist your head and look back to the right. Now I realize some bellies need more space, and if that's the case, you can either walk your foot wider, move the hand so it's less tight, or just lean your head back a little, your spine back a little. Right? And we're meeting what is. See, in every moment we're trying this non-attachment. If that's the shape of your body, that's the shape of your body. Right? You make the poses work for you instead of trying to make your body fit some image in your mind. All right, release that, and then lie down on your mat. Grab both knees and pull them in toward your chest. If you like Happy Baby, you could open the knees, grab your feet, play with your feet, clap with your feet, maybe lift the feet toward the sky, or any other variations that you want to just unwind any tightness in your back that you might have. Okay, when your spine feels settled, you might need more things, or you might be ready. Just stretch out on the floor for a minute or two. You know, you have the luxury to stay longer if you want, but let's take a short shavasana together. That was a very kind of invigorating practice, so you might feel mentally more alert. And really what we're going for, one of the states that we want to go for, is alert but calm. So this is not a bad thing. If your mind is alert, let it be alert. If it's not, that's fine. We'll do just a little tiny bit of breath work with this shavasana. And so all it is that when you breathe in, I want you to count how long it takes you to inhale, how many seconds. When you exhale, I want you to match that number or increase it by 1 or 2, whatever, by a little bit. And just stay with that practice for a few rounds of breath where you inhale and you count how long it takes. And you exhale and you match that or make it a tiny bit longer. And you'll notice when you do this that these numbers will begin to change. The inhale might get longer, or maybe it gets shorter, or it goes back and forth. And we're just letting that happen. And we're meeting it without pushing or pulling. Not attached to having to control or manipulate every little thing. Let's do one more of those, last one, where you consciously breathe. You're welcome to stay longer if you have the time. It would be a luxury to do that. But if you're done and you need to get going, just slowly begin to move your body to maybe roll the head or stretch the arms. And at some point you'll roll to your side and transition towards sitting. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here practicing with me, and I appreciate you being here. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.